What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814 EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the Qvist Bladeworks Variant PE3 prototype. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but this is the third variation of the PE series from Qvist Bladeworks, and this is the best one in my opinion. Jacob has a really good product going here. The whole product line is really good. You guys know that if you guys have been longtime supporters of the channel, I have the original Variant PE, which I ordered, I believe, middle of last summer, I think, on Kickstarter. And then I got it in around the fall. So I'm going to go through the storyline real quick. So I got it in the fall sometime, and it did pretty well for him. Then he started making some custom scales. So he got some fat carbon in, he got micarta, he got some other G10 in, and he was making his own scales for himself and then selling them on the website, doing some drops here and there. I was able to snag some White Storm fat carbon scales for them, and I really like them. I love the pop of color that it brings to it. And overall, I love this knife. Like, this is one of my favorite knives. I have it tuned pretty well. I have a nice edge on it from my buddy Trevor over at Mill Run Knife Company. Really like this knife. So bought this one, had this one. Then he comes out with the Variant PE2, or people called it the PEZ because that's how it looked like, PE2. And if you guys have been, watchers of the channel, you probably have seen my review on that. I didn't feel like there was enough of an upgrade, in my opinion, from the Variant PE to the PE2. Of course, he added some more jimping up here for the front flipper. So he had the front flipper. The one I reviewed, he did some titanium scales, which I didn't think were that, like, it was nice. He was trying to get titanium scales for under $100. I think it was like an $89 knife, which I really applaud him for doing that. But I really didn't like how heavy the knife was due to the titanium. There was no milling or anything going on. They were pretty, thick slabs of titanium. So the knife felt really heavy. And I just didn't feel like there was enough of an upgrade to go from this one. So I just kept this one, but I'm glad I got to check it out because I always like getting to check out new things. And then as of recently, he came out with the PE3 prototype. So this will be launching here in the next month or so, at least month and a half, somewhere in there. And I feel like this is kind of the pinnacle of the PE series. I think I've seen Jacob call it something like that. Like, this is the ultimate version of it. And to me, this is the best version. I am really impressed with what he's done. And there's some changes he's going to make because, of course, this is the prototype. But overall, I'm really impressed with it. And I think I'm going to pick one up. I don't know. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to maybe sell this to fund this one. Because if I have two, I don't have two knives of any knife that I have in my collection, just because I feel like I don't want to start going down that rabbit hole, because then I'll collect a bunch of everything. Because I feel like if I had both of them, like, I'm not going to, like, one's always going to get carried more than the other. So I might sell this to put it towards this, but I definitely want to pick up one of the PE3s. Because they are really good. Like I said, I'm very impressed by them. They're fantastic. Of course, the two big things that he has implemented into the PE3 versus the PE2. So you still have the front flipper. The same basic design has followed this knife from the beginning. But you guys can see this is a frame lock, which is really cool. And the blade is 20 CV. So you're getting a premium steel, and they are hollow ground. And this is a very thin edge. Comes with a medium thick stock. I wouldn't say that it's, it's kind of right in the middle, but it comes down with that belly to a very thin edge, and it feels really good for a hollow grind. You guys can see I have it's like a bronze titanium finish with I believe it's a DLC, or it's just a really dark stone wash, because it kind of has the hints of a stone wash on there if it catches the light the right way. But I really like this rendition of the knife. He's also doing, I believe, a full tie, so a either satin or stone wash with a plain titanium scale. He's also doing milled titanium pod clips, which is really nice too, instead of the loop over style QSP clips that they come with, like this one. Nothing wrong with these, but the milled clip looks really good on here. So he's doing this version. He's also doing the plain tie version, and I think as of yesterday, when I saw it on his Instagram, he's doing a blacked out version. So, full black, everything. That looks really good too. I kind of had myself set on the bronze tie, just because I really like the way the black contrasts with it, and I think they look really good together. I keep saying really, but I kind of had myself set on this one just because I liked it, and it was different, and it was something that I hadn't really seen before in person, and I just really was a big fan of it. But the blacked out looks really good, really looks awesome too. So you know, like I said, these haven't dropped yet. These aren't dropping. He doesn't have a date for them or anything like that. So hopefully, you know, within the next couple weeks, he can, you know, tidy down some stuff. I'm actually sending this back to him so he can do some promotional shoots with them. So he's probably gearing up towards, you know, sending some or putting out some news on when these are going to drop or when the pre-order will open. So but yeah, without further ado, we'll jump right into materials. We'll do the typical, you know, review process that I like to do. So of course, one thing I always like to point out, it's hard to see on here, but he does still have the 6-shooter pivot, which is really cool. He's been rocking that ever since the very beginning. So show you guys the original one. So you have all blacked out hardware, blacked out milled titanium pot clip. The pot clip is reversible, which is really cool. You guys have, or we'll have a filler tab to put on here, which is nice. Of course, it's a sway back design, so you kind of have a little bit of tapering going on here, you know, with a Warncliffe style blade, straight edge. Like I said, it is 20 CV. Comes down to a very thin edge with the hollow grind. Feels awesome. The frame lock has a lock bar insert. And I really like how the lock bar looks. It kind of has like a design with the cutout there that looks a little bit different from normal frame lock knives, and I think I really like that. You have a cutout back here. It's on bearings. One thing that I do want to note from the PE2 titanium to this titanium, this feels so much lighter, and it feels so much better in hand. And I think the scales are a little bit thinner, maybe a little bit more contoured, but they're definitely lighter. And that was the biggest thing when I picked this knife up, and I was like, dang, like this feels really good. It feels premium. But there is no internal milling. I think that's one of the changes he might be making, is adding a little bit more weight reduction, which is never a bad thing in my opinion. Of course, you have 2 standoffs back here, but I think that's pretty much it from you know, materials. So we're going to jump right into action next. Now, one of the biggest, actually probably the only thing that I have to complain about this knife is the detent is just very weak. It's almost non-existent, and Jacob knows that. I think a lot of people have told him that the detent is weak, and QSP just sent them that way for some reason. So he said that was like the biggest point that he's trying to get across to them is he wants the detents. He wants the detents tuned and tightened up. But even with a light detent, you know, thumb flick fires right out of there. Middle finger flick bangs right out. Feels really good. Oh, that was a good sound. Sometimes when you get it right, it has a really satisfying opening sound. Finger roll. Front flip feels really good. Now I'm sure QSP might have been kind of scared to strengthen the detent at first, because it's hard to, you know, juggle the hole, you know, with a knife with multiple opening methods. So like I said, you have the hole and you have the thumb flipper here. But I don't like, I think both of them could use it, because this, you can kind of catch yourself popping out like that. But, you know, overall, as long as you pick up the knife and you give it enough thwack, it's going to fire out. But the strength and detent will be a welcomed addition, in my opinion, to the, you know, the final run. But the closing action drops to your nail, shake close. I'm assuming that's going to maybe change a little bit once the detent strengthened. It might not be like a guillotine drop shut knife, but it's hard to do that anyway. Just hard to get your finger out of there in such a short amount of time. But it's very smooth. There is a smidgen of blade play, but it's not, you know, nothing that's worth complaining about. And this is a pass around knife, so you're going to have a little bit of blade play or lock rock sometimes, but there is no lock rock in this knife. I just pointed that out there. But, you know, there. Thumb access. Could there be a little bit more? Sure. But to me, there's plenty to get your thumb in there and kind of just knock it out of the way. Drops to your nail. But I was really impressed with this knife. Like this. So when I got this in, if you guys saw the video, I was expecting the Vanish prototype, which is the little slip joint that he did. And then when I saw that it was a PE3, I was really, really like excited for it. And then once I felt it and started fidgeting with it, like it really impressed me. Because if you guys saw, I unboxed this. I unboxed the Maverick from Brian Brown. I unboxed, or sorry, not the Maverick, the Jaeger from Brian Brown, and the Maverick from Qvist Bladeworks, and my little Dapper design, or Dapper, my Vox Dapper. And this one probably was the most exciting to me after I get off the camera and I started, fidgeting with them. Like, I was just really, really impressed by this knife. And I'm sorry for digressing, because that was one for materials and to be talking about that. But yeah, materials are good. Action's really, really good. Next up is Ergos. And I know some people don't like how this knife feels in their hand, but to me, I love it. You have a very, it's a choil. It's kind of a landing choil. You land up here. Middle finger goes right in here in this groove, and then the rest of the fingers kind of fall back. And you do have the knife that's kind of swooping up into your palm, but to me, it feels really, really good. I've always thought this was very good ergonomically, for me specifically. Choked back, it's still pretty comfortable. I can just get all 4 fingers on here. Don't want to talk to Siri. Now my camera gets all messed up. I apologize about that. But very comfortable. You do have some jimping right here from the front flipper. It's not too aggressive, so you're not going to be, shredding your hand or anything like that. But I most oftentimes don't hold my knife like this. I always choke up with, this grip. You're really locked in. You're going to be doing some precise cuts. You're going to be able to see what you're doing, or you're going to be able to see, cut what you're supposed to be cutting. It's very comfortable. Yes, and like I said, some guys I have, like Casey over at Knives Fast, I don't think he's a huge fan of this cutout. He just doesn't think it's very comfortable ergonomically. And I can kind of understand that, just because it is kind of awkward. But for me personally, like I said, it's just, locks. It kind of, once your finger's in there, it kind of just locks it from moving anywhere, because you have both sides to, contend with as natural restriction points. But it feels really, really good in the hand. I love the way the titanium feels. The pot clip does not, provide a hot spot or anything like that, because it's very slim, very thin to the knife. You're not going to have many issues there. Yeah, overall, if you guys have held a variant, whether it's a PE, original PE, PE2, or a custom variant that he's been doing, or he used to do, they all feel the same. There's really just a big difference is just the weight, for the scales you have on it, so on and so forth. But overall, this feels fantastic. So Ergos are really, 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 really good. But next up is carry. I've already said how, pretty lightweight this knife is. Of course, you're rocking a milled titanium clip, but I think it looks really good on the knife. I think, to me, that looks better than the loop over style clips that we used to get on the PE2 and the PE. But it still carries pretty well. You have not that much sticking up out of your pocket, but to me, that's not, much of an issue or anything like that. I think it, works fine, carries well. I carried this in my front right pocket of my jeans a couple times, and I've also tossed this in my shorts as well. And it goes in a pocket very well. I was a little concerned because you're right by that lock bar cutout right there, but I didn't have any issues with it at all. It wasn't, much of an issue for me. So Ergos our carryability is awesome. Sorry guys, I'm getting a little sidetracked today, but so that leads me to my final category of price point and would I recommend this knife. Guys, I would recommend this knife every day that ends in Y. I have been a fan since the original PE. I love this knife. It's very, very good. It's been a favorite of mine for a budget knife. It's fantastic. It's funny because the scales that I bought for him were actually more expensive than the knife itself. But that's just kind of what you do in the knife world. So, but I think he told me he's going to be aiming for 170, 180, somewhere in that price range for it. And I think that's a very, very good price. I mean, you're getting, full titanium scales, a 20 CV blade with a hollow grind that just feels really, really good. QSP killed it on this. Milled titanium pot clip, bearings, a fantastic action, a very good fit and finish, very good fidgetability. I don't think you can go wrong, for that price point. Now, I don't know if he's going to be doing a drop or a pre-order. He's done pre-orders for the last couple projects of his. but I was talking to him on Instagram, and he said a drop would be a dream, but don't put any slack into that. He needs to talk numbers and figure out that stuff for for himself. But he did put that tidbit in there for me, and he said he would love to do a drop. I think because I get that he doesn't he wants people to get his knives in their hands as soon as possible. But pre-orders is just how stuff goes once in a while, and I completely understand it if he has to go that way. I will probably, like I said, I want to pick one up either way, but I think it's a great deal. And Jacob has even said before, he's not trying to kill people for his designs. He's not trying to kill people on prices for different things like that. So yeah, 170, 180 bucks. I think even, 200 or so is going to be a fair price for this. Just because of the materials, 20 CV and, a full tie frame lock with, again, fantastic action. That detent will be strengthened. Great fidgetability, great form factor. Just a really good ergonomically friendly knife, a great user, very utilitarian. This thing just rips into packages so well. So yeah, I think it's a great knife, and I can't wait for him to come out with the drop or the pre-order, because I fully plan on picking one up. So, but yeah, guys, I'm gonna wrap this one up. Really have enjoyed this knife. So this was my full review on the Qvist Bladeworks Variant PE3 prototype, the newest project from Jacob, who always seems like he's coming out with different projects. He has now had, once this is in full pre-order or full drop mode, he has had the PE, the PE2, the PE3, the Vanish prototypes for the slip joints he came out with. He has a Veritas prototype that he's working with right now. He has the Revert, I think, or the Revert, which is basically the Vanish, but the Variant and turned upside down. So the handle will be like this, but the blade will be flipped. So basically, if you hold the knife like this and it's comfortable, you're going to like it. So that's really cool. I think prototypes are on the way to him now. But he has, for doing this knife company on the side, he has a full-time job. I really have to applaud him, because I think he's done a very good job. I kind of got introduced to him last year when I bought the original Variant, so he's been doing it for about a year or so. He's made customs for a long time before that, but for dipping his toes in the production world, like I said, I think he's doing a very good job, and he continually comes out with really good knives for very good prices. And I'm happy for him. So Jacob, if you're watching this, congratulations, man. I'm really excited for it. I'm really happy for you. And thank you for, letting me get on the list to check this out. I was really pleased with it, and I think it's going to be a fantastic model for you. So, yeah, guys, like I said, this was the Variant PE3 prototype by Qvist Bladeworks. Just want to thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate, you guys tuning in, commenting, doing all the things you guys do that make my channel grow. As always, please use the code 814EDC for 10% off of your purchases at Blue Creek Knives. Helps you guys, helps me, and helps Brian. It's a win-win-win. So I'm going to wrap this up, but thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your evening, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.